All right, to start with, just as we always do, our mission statement is to protect people financially, educate them about money, and make them financially free. So it's not hocus pocus, it's focus. So uh, today we are going to talk about something that's Beson brought to my attention when I joined Providential. In fact, it was within the first 3 days of me joining Providential that we started to talk about focus. And the acronym FOCUS stands for Follow One Course Until Successful. Follow one course until success or until successful. So, if we think about focus, we can think about people who have become extremely successful in their lives. And one of the examples that we could think about is Bill Gates. Bill Gates did not become a billionaire by accident. It was actually a focused, attention to something that he was passionate about, and that was software development. He started, very young. He started working with the computers and computer software, which wasn't very popular at that time. Very few people were actually involved in software development and even computers at the time that Bill Gates started. But he set his mind to work on that particular topic that he found his passion for, and it was his focus on just that itself, which is software development and computers, that eventually gave him the opportunities that turned him into a billionaire today, one of the richest men in the world. And because of that focus, he not only has changed the world, he has literally changed the world, but he's also has been able now to be able to influence, other parts of society, other parts of our communities, in terms of being able to be one of the largest contributors towards philanthropy in the world through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Another example of focus is our own Elon Musk. I say our own Elon Musk because he was born in South Africa, so I think we have some claim to him. But if you think of Elon Musk also started, I think he was 13 years old when he started to work with software commercially. He started, dabbling with the software. Elon Musk, if you look at what he does not do invest in a whole range of things. He's got SpaceX, he's got Tesla, and I think he's got one other company that he spends his focus on. He has one focus, one goal. He says that he realizes that the earth cannot, sustain us for the for the rest of our, the generations that people are going to be living. That there are going to be people on earth, they will not be able to live on earth. So his focus now is also to create the opportunity for people to travel into space, and particularly to Mars, and to be able to, start up a colony out of the earth, well, away from the earth. And so that's one of his areas of focus. So you can see these very, very successful billionaires, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, are examples of what can happen if you sit and follow, or not sit, but if you follow one course until you are successful. If you set up a path, set up a goal, and you follow one course until you are successful. These two gentlemen are excellent examples of this. Another example from history is Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi had a focus to liberate India from the British. And he basically gave his life, that was his focus, for many, many years. That he, basically for the rest of his life after he left South Africa as a lawyer, that was his focus, and he accomplished what he set out to achieve. So I'm going to talk about how to achieve focus. What are the habits that you need to have? So the first thing that we need to look at is the habit of changing our habits. Nothing stays the same. Everything changes. The only constant in the world, they say, is change. That will always be the same, is the changing of things, the moving of things to a different level, etc. So we need to develop the habit of changing our habits. And people who are wealthy, who are rich in every sense, understand. I'm just talking about material wealth, but wealthy in health, and relationships and all those kinds of things. They're rich in every sense. Understand that life is a learning experience. Learning never stops. We must learn to constantly refine our habits. So even though we may be comfortable in our uncomfortable situations, in order to change, we need to change our habits, and we must be constantly learning, constantly refining the habits that we have. And the interesting thing is that our habits are embedded in our subconscious mind. Now, our mind, most theorists, most writers now believe, believe that the mind is made up of two parts. We have the conscious mind, and then we have the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is where we are aware of what we are doing at all times. The conscious mind is where we do our thinking and we reflect in our conscious mind. But underneath that is our subconscious mind, and it is in our subconscious mind that we actually behave, or we act out, or we are the kind of people that we are, because it is our subconscious mind that is driving us forward. For example, if you think about driving, I just use the word driving, but if you think about physically the act of driving a car, when you start, especially with a manual vehicle where you have to change the gears, when you start driving, you actually have to work out how to press the clutch in, how to accelerate and release the clutch and accelerate, and when are you going to put it into the first gear, second gear, third gear. But over time, it becomes a habit, changing the gears at the right time, accelerating or pressing in the clutch at the right time. All of these things become a habit. We drive continuously, it becomes a habit. It goes into our subconscious mind. And sometimes, I'm sure you've experienced this if you're a driver, sometimes you don't even know how you got to your destination, because you subconsciously, your mind was able to carry out the act of driving, even though your conscious mind was not aware of you changing the gears, etc. So our habits are embedded in our subconscious mind. And as you strive to improve, you find yourself on an exciting journey that leads to fulfillment and prosperity. So our theme we said today is prosperity in Providential. So as you can see, that our goal is to achieve prosperity, and the way to do that is through habit and our focus. Sorry about that. Okay, so improving our habits. Okay, these are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself. Are my financial habits helping me to reach my goals? Are my health habits jeopardizing my future well-being? What communication habits do I need to improve? What habits do I have that may be hurting my family relationships? So we need to look at these different questions and ask ourselves, questions, and then we need to, we need to not just look at the way we the way we think consciously of things, but what's going to reveal the answers to these questions is actually looking at your habits. Because remember, we said that it's in our subconscious mind, so we don't directly have the answers or know why we are doing certain things, why we are achieving certain things. For example, if we take the first question, are my financial habits helping me to reach my goals? So we need to look into the things that we do. Are we saving 10% of our income? Are we spending more than we actually make? What are your financial habits? What's the first thing you do when you receive your income, when you receive your commission, or when you receive your salary? What are you doing? Are you managing your money? And the way in which to improve your habits is to look at what you are currently doing, and that will inform you what your money habits are. And then you can go forward in terms of, if your money management styles are not improving your life, then you need to look at that and focus on changing those habits. The same is with question 2: are my health habits jeopardizing my future well-being? Now, many of us have the goal to live long. All of us want to live a long and healthy life. But the question is, what are you doing today that's going to help you live a long and healthy life? If you are a smoker, is that a habit that's going to help you live a long and healthy life? If you are, constantly, sitting on the couch and watching television and not exercising, that is a habit that's going to jeopardize your future well-being. So this is what we need to do to improve your habits. So let's look at discipline and focus, what we need to do. So staying focused requires daily discipline. That means being more conscious of the activities you choose to spend time on. To avoid drifting away from your focus, ask yourself at regular intervals the following question: is what I'm doing right now helping me to achieve my goals? And it is this question that I want to highlight now, because this is what's stopping you or taking you forward in terms of your prosperity in Providential. So we need to ask the question: is what I'm doing right now helping me to achieve my goals? Okay, there are two types of activities that we engage in on a daily basis when we are commission paid workers, when we earn a commission. The first thing is what we call income generating activities, and the second thing is non income generating activities. So, is what I am doing right now helping me to achieve my goals? If you are moving towards your goals, you will be working with income generating activities. What are income generating activities? Income generating activity is not setting your desk up, is not putting the papers in the right place. That is a non income generating activity. But an income generating activity is prospecting, because the more people that you prospect, the closer you get to a meeting. Income generating activity is a meeting, doing a meeting. Income generating activity is completing an application form and submitting it. So those are the income generating activities that we need to focus on. Is what I'm doing right now helping me to achieve my goals? This is a question to be disciplined and to focus on prosperity in Providential. This is the question that we constantly need to ask ourselves. This is what's going to change our financial situation. if we ask this core question, is what I'm doing right now helping me to achieve my goals, and focus on the income generating activities. So that is the presentation as far as I would like to go with the presentation today. So I hope I haven't finished yet. We just got to just one more uh, aspect that I want to talk about. So um, the issue of focus, follow one course until successful, is what's going to lead to your prosperity in Providential. So, having said that, and having gone through that presentation, I want to quickly talk about the book of the month. We are almost, I think it's about 10 days to go before the end of the month. So, you have 10 days in which to complete the book, because next month we are going to introduce a second book. I will reveal that in a week's time, what's going to be our book of the month for September. But Think and Grow Rich is the book that we have chosen for our Book of the Month Club for August. And if you haven't already broken the book and opened the book to start your reading, I would strongly advise. Now, if you're going to take one bite at a time to finish this book, you're going to need to read 30 pages per day, 30 pages per day. And in 10 days' time, the edition that I have is 302 pages. In 10 days' time, you would have read the entire Think and Grow Rich. There are 13 principles or 13 steps that Napoleon Hill talks about in the book that will inform you and help you in your business and in your personal life. But the one that we always talk about, the principle that we always talk about in Providential, we always talk about your why. What hurts you? What is your burning desire? And it is in step one, the first step to riches. The desire is the starting point of all achievement. That is what Napoleon Hill uh, points out as the first step in the 13 principles that he covers in the Think and Grow Rich book. The most important thing, though, is the first chapter that he writes about the power of thought. Now, a burning desire, there's so many examples of people who have achieved a lot just because they had a burning desire. There are two examples that spring to mind. One is Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, as you all know, is a comedian, is an actor, and he was the star in Dumb and Dumber as well as The Mask. But Jim Carrey, when he moved to Hollywood, to Los Angeles, when he moved to Hollywood, he was broke and he had no money. But his desire and his focus was to become a highly paid actor. So he took a check, he took a blank check, and he wrote on the check $10 million paid to Jim Carrey for acting services rendered. And he continued working as an actor, doing small parts, and doing things to improve himself. And eventually he was offered $10 million to do Dumb and Dumber. He was paid $10 million, and it was his focus on that goal that, looking at his desire every day, looking at the check every day, that he is actually motivated by his father as well. In fact, when his father passed away, he took that check, he put it into his father's suit pocket and buried him with that check. Interesting story there. The second person that I can mention to you who had a focus to achieve his goals was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger came from somewhere in Europe he wasn't an American. He had a thick accent, and he was, his first goal in life was to become a bodybuilder, and he achieved that by becoming a world champion in bodybuilding. But his next goal was to become a highly paid actor in Hollywood. And again, you're looking at a person who had thick muscles, big bodybuilding, in big body, and a very thick foreign accent. And today, you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not only was he one of the highest paid actors in America, but he also became a governor in in one of the states in America. So I'm just sharing with you examples of what people can achieve, what you can achieve if you focus. So we're talking about prosperity in Providential, and it is very achievable. It's about changing your habits, it's about focus, and it's about achieving what you set out to do. And that's where I will stop. There you have it, fellow affiliates of Providential. We are in exciting times right now in August because there's lots and lots that can be achieved, a lot of rank up opportunities that can be achieved, a lot of income opportunities that you can achieve as well. So thank you very much for your attention this morning. I hope what I've shared with you can